We're now at the Ntlungwana Hall, still in Inanda. This is the last stop for the health officials here today. But I must say that one of the heartbreaking things that has been identifiable across the board and spectrum, not just here, is that there is a huge number of children that are occupying these halls. I'm told the statistics here, it's 32 children and 42 adults, 50 families are staying in this particular hall. And I'm just going to do a quick pan. Stephen, we need to be careful because there are children in this hall, so we can't show their faces. But what we will try and do is just show you the setup of this hall. There is a pot and there is some efforts to actually cook there. But, you know, resources, again, remain quite stretched at this particular point in time. You can see that communities are still relying largely on the goodwill of their neighbors. But also another issue, Stephen, is that some people haven't wanted to stay in community halls because they don't want to leave the very little that they still have left. We'll know that part of what's been taking place is that there's been looting, of the resources, across the spectrum, whether it's trucks on the M19 on Umgeni or even the belongings of those who have had their things caught up in the mudslides. We've still got the officials here, and let me start off with you, Puti, because you're the one who gave a briefing to MEC no minister. It would seem ukuthi sanitation iyona inkinga at the moment.
Ngiyasaqavumanga because abantu ngoba beminyene nje so sikholele ekuthenini ke ngempela indlela ye-sanitation asikwazi ukuthi sigcina sisibahlalise endaweni efana lezi. Singabonga kakhulu nje mase sisizakala ngokuthi bekwazi ukuthi behlukaniswe labantu njengoba bebaningi kanje kulesimo sikusona njengamanje se-disaster. So kubuhlungu kakhulu from the day one siqala sila kule situation esibhekene nayo. Asazi nanokuthi umuntu ngaphela ngaphuma shone ngaphi, but we have tried now and then for ama-donors ukuthi akwazi ukuthi asisize so that sizomuva siye phambili. But ngeke saqamba manga basilekelelile sasafika kulesigaba esikusona. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi siyabona nampo minister from national level, provincial kuze kufike kuthina ukuthi bekwazi ukuthi besi-assiste noma besingenelele so that bezobuyisa ithemba kubantu, because ngeke salibalekele iqiniso ukuthi abantu babalekelwe yithemba lokuthi ngampela kwenzakalani, because njengamanje sinabantu abawu-5 abangakatholakali namanje esingazi ngampela ukuthi bazotholakala kanjani, and there's nothing yenzakalayo so that sizokwazi ukuthi besizakala. And abantu sebaze badecide ukuyimbela bona so that bezokwazi ukuthi beye phambili. Kodwa ngokusebenzisana nokhansela, uPeriod Councillor wethu okhona ne-ward committee, sihambe simema sincenga nomasipala, siyabona khona khona okuzamekayo and sinethemba lokuthi futhi khona okuzameka. Nathi-ke siwumphakathi noma singama-leaders akhona amancane emphakathini sinenkolelo yokuthi kukhona okuzokwenzeka, and siyafisa ukuthi abantu behlise umoya so that bebone ukuthi isimo siyazama left and right and center ukuze sikwazi ukuqhubekela phambili. Akubona bodwa abantu abalala la kule ndawo esikuyona. Sinama-areas amathathu esigcine kubona abantu kanje. Uma ngaqambi nje amanga kule ndawo esiyona approximately sinabantu abaplus or minus 75
families or abantu
families. Then kwenye indawo esikuzona kwiholo lesibili sinabantu mhlambe plus or minus 13 or 14. Then elinye iholo sinabantu mhlambe plus or minus 6. So abangazi ukuthi uma besuka lapho emva kwalokho bazoyaphi. So okwabantu abadinga into yokudla, okwabantu abadinga amanzi, because njengamanje sine situation ethi amanzi awekho for the whole world. So okwenza ukuthi ngampela kungakwazi ukuphileka. Sometimes ke sinenkinga kaqhamcishi kagesi okwenza ukuthi kube nzima ngampela ke kubantu ukuphila, because suke sekuhamba amanzi ugesi awukho sokugcina sengasasebenze ngendlela esimanga. Okwenza ukuthi sicele nama water tank ayafika kama water tank. Okubuhlungu ukuthi water tank ifika ibe yodwa, so iward inkulu kakhulu kwenza ukuthi ingakwazi ukuserviseka ngendlela right. Kwenzeke ke mhlawumbe isafika imisaqhamuka ukuthi iyangena ewadini beyivimba abantu ingakwazi ukuthi ifike kwabanye abantu, so kwenza ukuthi kube nzima kakhulu ngampela ukusebenza. Siyacela neziphathimandla ukuthi zisihambele phambili bandla zisisize so that ikwazi iwadi yethu ukusebenzeka. Siyabonga kakhulu ukusebenzisana ne-ward committee ne-leadership esinayo ewadini yethu no-councillor wethu no-per councillor wethu esinaye. So we are trying our best ukuthi umphakathi wethu umuve phambili.
All right, there you have it, Stephen. That's one of the residents who's staying here in Ntlungwini Hall, basically lamenting the issue of water and sanitation. It's not accommodating 75 people, it's 75 families. So where we are, you'll remember that our colleague Linda Mnisi was in Amawoti, where you saw those visuals of residents with buckets. This is exactly where we are. And so what the gentleman was describing here is that they have an issue with water and that their water tankers do get sent, but because the ward is so wide and vast, sometimes other residents block it from reaching certain places. So the issue of water remaining critical, and of course, I think MEC and Minister, you'll agree that water is critical for being able to take your chronic medication, for being able to just make sure that we don't have another health crisis unfolding as a result of the floods.
Well, definitely water is a priority. As you would have heard, even last night when the President was announcing on the national state of disaster, the issue of water was quite top on the agenda. Between national water and sanitation, the province, and also eThekwini municipality. There is no doubt that that's the top priority, water and sanitation. And of course, the issue of crowding also, it's really, I was just saying to MEC, we need to prioritize especially the children. Adults can survive, but I think we need to put more priority to the children here. I mean, they mentioned that there's just over, I think, something like 32, 33 or so children, including a small baby, a newborn. So those are the younger people that we need to prioritize. But I agree with you that on top of all that, water, number one, but generally sanitation as well. It's the major priority which we will be working together with our other colleagues to make sure that this is prioritized. Yes.
I think, MEC Simelane, what we've seen today shows us that it can't be a health issue, an infrastructure issue, or another department issue. It needs coordination. Yeah. I'm saying this because we've just come from a house in Inanda where a 7-year-old Pilasande Mngadi, you guys handed over a wheelchair. But you see, where she's staying, that wheelchair is going to now, in terms of the assistance, it's going to be minimized because it's in an area where you can't push. There is no ramp up and down in that area. I mean, in terms of the swiftness, I think the agility is what a lot of residents are speaking about here. And you also almost clashed with some residents where we were because they were complaining about housing and other issues. What do you think this national state of disaster is going to assist with fast-tracking in the immediate term?
Well, I wouldn't say we nearly clashed, Ziyanda. They were just speaking very loud. No, indeed, I mean, government needs to operate as government, not in silos, not as different departments, and there's no way you can deal with a disaster at this level and think we are going to operate on your own. That is why the Premier has instituted a interministerial committee on disaster management, and in that committee you have a number of social departments that sit on it, because the intention is exactly that you must be able to respond together as government. You must be able to look at the health matters, education, social development, housing, water, and so forth. So we are really working on that, and I think the fact that the President has pronounced or has declared a national state of disaster will actually assist us even more, because then it gives us more resources, not even financially, because people will think when we say resources we want money. No, indeed we just want the physical resources, we want the human resources, we want more people to come and assist in terms of the rescue and rescuing people that have not been rescued. We want people to donate a lot of more tankers so that we can be able to move water around, because the issue of water is something that is beyond any of us, because it's as a result of the disaster. But we need to be able to move water around, but you won't be able to do that if you don't have enough tankers. So if people are able to donate in kind, that is what we ask for, and that is what government wants to do together with the private sector. We have seen a lot of private sector, big players coming on board. As I said earlier on, ABSA has given us, as the Department of Health, about 20 tankers so far to say, let's go and fill our facilities. They're not giving us the whole tanker. They're saying, we're bringing you water. And that has actually helped us a lot. So the agility really depends on whether we are able to work together, both as government and the community. And we have seen a lot of people coming on board to say, let's all work together so that we are able to deal with this crisis once and for all.
Perhaps just a last take from the both of you. What happens after all these assessments? There's MECs and ministers all over the province now. When you go around looking at these areas, what exactly are you doing after these assessments?
From our part as a province, the assessment is intended to come up with a clear plan. What exactly are our needs? For instance, you saw when we went to Inanda, New Town A, we needed to have a proper assessment of what the damages are. So that from as a province, we don't have the money to be able to fix that facility and at whatever level that needs to be fixed. We then are able to go to the minister to say, look, we have this damage, we don't have money for it, can you assist? Fortunately, minister with the deputy minister came this morning and said, we are here to help you in whatever form. They've also committed that they are going to assist us with our e-health filing, which is something that's going to contribute not just for now, the disasters, but it will contribute in the long run because it will reduce the waiting period in our facilities. Now, you see, that doesn't require any money. It just requires us as government to work together. So the assessment that we are doing is to inform our interventions. As we came here about 2 or 3 days ago, the fact that we've now started having outreach teams that are coming to these centers is as a result of the assessment I did with the head of department 2 days ago. We then realized that we actually need to start going, visiting all the centers where people are accommodated, bring medication, bring doctors, bring nurses. So the intention of this assessment is to have an intervention that is relevant.
MEC, I'm sorry, we are completely out of time. That's KZN Health MEC Nomakuku Smelane, really giving us an update on what they're going to do after visiting all these areas. Stephen?
Well, thank you very much indeed for that update, very comprehensive update. Health Minister, MEC in that area as well, and of course just the situation where people have to stay. Imagine having to sleep on the floors of that centre.